lightroom.com. Do you have any idea what you are looking at right now? No? Well, I do. This is a remote desktop session right here. See, I can move it. Move. Yep. Okay, you getting sick yet? Okay. This is a remote desktop session into my server 2003 computer, which holds my primary drives, and I'm going to go over my whole network and how to move photos and my backups and my archives. So there's going to be a lot of great information in this video. Just take it piece by piece and do your best to apply it to your situation. And I realize that not everybody is going to have a setup quite like mine, which is understandable. But check this out and do what you can and grab your little bits and pieces and apply it. So, remote desktop session. There's Alex. Okay. This is a program called Retrospect. This is one of the most robust applications for backing up and duplicating files that I have found. It does all of my backups, all of my archives, all of my duplicating for everything in my entire network, which again I'm going to go over. So right now it's backing up all the photos from my newly purchased 2 terabyte drives that will now be holding all of my photos from 2002 through 2010. Right now it's copying from the first drive to the third drive. We're going to take about 20 hours in order to do that, just about 2 terabytes of data. And the reason for that is it goes through and does a very thorough check to make sure each and every file is absolutely perfect from one to the other, that there's no issues, there's no problems. So that's the last thing you want, is to find out in 2 years that you've been copying and moving all this bad data and all these bad files. Not going to do you any good if it's not good verified information and pictures. So that's why I use it. Works really well. There are plenty of other programs that you can use. You could probably even use the built-in Windows system, Windows backup to make this work. The only thing that I will say is that I prefer to have, number one, for my archives anyway, for my actual photo archives where I leave everything, bare individual drives, not on a RAID, not on anything like that. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, when you say you buy a RAID system now, maybe you buy a Windows Home Server, or you buy any other NAS boxes, network attached storage boxes out on the market. They're going to work great for a few years. You think, oh wow, everything's great, and working with a RAID. Well, all of a sudden that device fails after 3 years or 4 years. Well, or one of the drives fail, or something like that could happen. Now, if one drive's fail in a RAID, you're going to be fine. But if the device fails over time, you might not be able to replace that device. And in other words, the RAIDs are device specific, and you're not going to be able to rebuild that without spending a lot of money to have the data recovered. So that's why I prefer to have individual drives, not in any kind of an archive or anything like that, just direct copy right on the drive, so that I can take all any drive that I have, plug it into a computer via SATA connection, and there's my pictures right there, and I can access them. That's how I prefer to do it. Now I'm going to have 4 copies of everything. I'm copying onto the number 3 right now. I'm going to have 4 copies of everything. My primary, which I will access every once in a while, number 1. Number 2 is a single copy. Number 3 and number 4 are off-site copies. So I rotate number 4 and number 3 and take them back and forth between home, office, all that, and so that I have that additional copy always offline and always off-site. That's the most important part. This is what turns it into a true archive and gives you 100% peace of mind that you're not going to have any problems. Alright, so let's talk about my network a little bit and where I have everything stored. Here is a quick drawing that I did of my network. Alright, I have my internet coming in, my router, my switch. Now obviously this isn't everything as it's set up, but these are the primary pieces to my puzzle, as I like to call it. Alright, right here is that server that I'm running. Okay, it's an IBM X Series, Windows SBS 2003 domain, and it's also running Exchange 2003, and I'll get to that. Anyway, that's where my primary drives are held. All of my archives, they're in there. And then I have this thing that I call a toaster. I'll show you a picture or something of it. Basically allows me to insert a bare drive via a SATA connection and connect that to the server. Makes it a lot easier, a lot less expensive in order to have all these drives instead of having a bunch of Western Digital MyBooks or a bunch of external hard drives. Just allows me to use bare drives. Then I have cases for those bare drives for carrying them back and forth. Then this machine, my Windows 7 machine, is my primary workstation. I have 3 monitors on it. I built it from scratch with just bought parts from Newegg. And anyway, this machine has a RAID in it for my video editing, that kind of thing, and a bunch of drives for scratch, this, that. But it also holds my primary drive with my most current photographs on it. So in other words, it would have my 2011 photos. As you saw, my 2010s are going to be on the other one, and we're going to go back to here, and I'll show you this as soon as it comes up. Hello, hello, there it is. Okay, 2002 to 2010, 1, 2, and 3. All right, and in 2011, number 2 is on the server, so I've actually separated that. All right, number 1 is going to be on here. Okay, number 1 is on here because I want the fastest access to be able to have Lightroom work with them as quickly as possible. All right. I wanted to tell you about this Exchange. If you have ever used Exchange for your email, or if you use it at work, it works so well between my iPhone, between my workstation, and my laptop. It's made for it. It works so well, makes the thing so easy. Automatic sync of my email, contacts, calendar. If you're thinking about going into business, or you just want an easier way to sync everything, get an Exchange email box. There's tons of places that are hosted online. Works really, really well. Saves me a lot of time. Anyway, back to here. So I'm copying all that stuff over. All right. Now, what really matters is right here in Lightroom. I need to access my pictures. Right. So I have 28,647 images in this folder from 2010. Now, X is my local drive, okay? But I need to move that over to the server. So there's a couple of keys to this. Number 1, a lot of times you're going to have just a list of folders, and you're not going to have the parent of this folder, okay? For example, say we had 3, 4, 5 folders right here, all right? And this is actually on my desktop. Well, we would right-click this, and we would do Add Parent Folder. Okay? And what should happen here? Should happen. I don't know why it's not happening. Add Parent Folder. There it is. Okay, I must not have hit it. All right. Now it's showing my desktop. All right. So the reason for doing that is this. I'm going to right-click this, and now I'm going to do Update Folder Location. Since I added the parent folder of all of these subfolders already, I can then only have to do this one time instead of 50 times or 100 times for all of my folders. So I'm going to right click on the X here, Update Folder Location, and now I'm going to browse through my network and find this drive. Bear with me 1 second here because I want to do this live for you. It's on server. And then I'm going to choose 2010 archive, and I know that's the correct folder that's been shared just through a normal network share, nothing special there, which you can do on any computer. It doesn't have to be a server computer. And I'm going to click OK, and again, I'm doing this live. This is the real thing right here, and here are all of my pictures. Okay, this quickly, I have now moved these pictures from my local drive, or told Lightroom that before they were being stored on my local drive, now it's going to recognize them. And let's do a show in Explorer. It's going to realize that it's on the server. See that? Server, and then 2010 archive, instead of X, which was the old folder. Okay? So now I can turn this X drive, which is going to now be my 2011 photos, And so now I have everything moved, everything organized, and I've done this for all of my old catalogs because, as I've mentioned before, I have a catalog for 2010, 2009, 2008, 2007, going all the way back. And actually, you see that structure right here. And so I have different shares set up for each of those. This is the best system for me. Now, obviously, your system may vary. Maybe you don't have as many pictures. The main thing to get from this, or to take away from this, is number one, back up your pictures. Number two, figure out some kind of an archive system. Get a photo buddy to copy your photo, or to, trade hard drives with. Get a couple of sets of those so that you don't have to worry about it. So that you're always going to have those memories and never going to lose them. Check on it. Make sure everything's working good. They are really inexpensive. Drives are really inexpensive, especially now. I think I paid $89 just about a week or a week and a half ago for a 2 terabyte Western Digital drive, SATA drive. Why not? That's a really, really good price, and you get a couple of those. You'll know everything is backed up, and you won't have any worries. Now, I am not a fan of using an online backup system as any kind of a primary backup. If it's a 4th or a 5th copy, yes, it's a good idea. The reason why I'm not a fan of using it as a primary backup is because if something would happen to the organization that holds those backups, say Mozy, say all of a sudden they went out of business, well, they're probably not going to give you very much notice. And so if I'm going to sit here and try and download 2 terabytes, 3 terabytes of data, it's going to take forever to try and pull that information out of there. If something catastrophic, did I say that right? I don't know, would happen. So, consider where it is in your settings, or in your setup. If it's only like I said, a 3rd or a 4th copy, then you'd probably be just fine. So anyway, questions, comments, anything like that, we'd love to hear from you in the forum, froknowsphoto.com/froknows, or of course comments, questions, here, there, everywhere. You can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Cazillo, Cazillo. Greg Cazillo, froknowsphoto.com. See ya.